Welcome, Divine. Welcome, Divine. All right, if you're looking for the shuffle to this, it is in the deeper DM reading that is right before this. I did the spread and then I decided to move each one out of the way and give them their own platform to really just get in there so you can see what's going on. That divine masculine deeper look on that energy is really good. I mean, those eyes are, that spiritual eye is really open and many things are happening right now. So the divine masculine can actually see those possible opportunities, that they're able to see the darker and the lighter path for themselves, and in being able to see those open possibilities of that lighter and that darker path means that they can begin to start making choices, good choices, choices that are aligned to them, choices that benefit them, choices that are for them, that they haven't been able to make before. So that is an amazing reading showing what's going on with the divine masculine energy and where they're moving into. So now let's get right into it. Oh, wow. My bracelet. Let's get right into the divine feminine energy and see what's going on. And similar to the divine masculine energy, the divine feminine reading did a little twist too into the clarifiers. Every last one of the divine feminine cards came out in reverse. That's why I said if you're looking for the shuffle, it is over there. I promise I didn't have the deck upside down. Because some of the divine masculines came out upright. So all of the cards are in reverse, but I'm seeing it just like I saw the divine masculine energy reading, that they are flowing into the clarifier. And I said, you know, I'm going to read it like that. I'm going to read it just like I read the divine masculine energy and just see where we go with it. And that seems to be exactly how this message is to be delivered. So when we start out here, we have the Seven of Wands in reverse for the divine feminine. So this is where many of those divine feminine are moving from, you know, have already gotten to this spacing or moving from, but it's such a connection I see flowing here where this is getting ready to go. It's popping up to me now. So let's see. So that Seven of Wands in reverse, that's that perplexity. That's that embarrassment. That's that anxiety. And you're like, okay, why would a divine feminine show up in that space? And remember that we are moving into our clarifiers. So we'll start out saying, you know, that embarrassment and anxiety and perplexity that the divine feminine has been dealing with shows up in the same way the divine masculine, within that layer with the counterpart, and with the divine feminine, with how the divine feminine has showed up in the world and the masses. You know, and the masses. So it has layers to it, layers. And when we go into that clarifier, which is that Five of Pentacles, fear surrounding money, the wisdom to accept help from others, you know, uncertain self-employment. So it's like the way the divine feminine had been living before was out of the identity of the divine feminine. Almost like the divine feminine had this way about herself or himself with the divine feminine dominant energy, had this way about self that so many did not know. So many did not know. So there was a little bit of that embarrassment around that and anxiety about that, and just really just being perplexed on on being able to be self. And it also affected the way the divine feminine was showing up in how they were going to receive money and things of that sort. So even that uncertain self-employment that's coming up that we're moving into, and the thing that it's popping off right now is that many of those divine feminine who are aware of what it is they're to do next, what they're going to do next, but it's so opposite of what they've been doing. So it's just that little bit of anxiety and embarrassment around it, according to the masses, because many of the things that the divine feminine are being birthed into doing are opposite of the crowd. So you see that mirroring going on with the divine masculine and divine feminine? During this union season, it's so close. The energies are so close because there's that union happening within self and that union happening with others. So right there in that point, that we go in with the divine feminine is having to really begin to accept self and accept the journey of that self, and really moving from that space of embarrassment or anxiety surrounding it. And also the relationship with the counterpart. I get that also there's that layer with the counterpart that comes in, that embarrassment of anxiety as to what they have experienced on their journey to divine love, in relationship, what they've went through, what they have dealt with, what they've allowed, just really at that point of letting that go, and just having that wisdom to accept, help from others in a way that I can be seen as how I truly am and treated as how I truly am, despite my journey and despite whatever facet I show up in, So the divine feminine is really moving into that space. And what's happening is that it's really tackling that fear surrounding money, because what's happening is that divine feminine has really been out of alignment in a lot of ways with self. And it's not that the divine feminine can't be anywhere and work anywhere and do anything. The divine feminines will be in all spaces. It's just that the divine feminine has to desire to be in that space, or has to figure out how to be self in that space, and that's what's happening. And it's going to, what I'm getting is that we flow right over, because these are our main cards, even though these are the clarifiers coming out. But it's interesting because everything is so reverse. But we leave the 7 of Wands in reverse, and then we go into the 8 of Wands in reverse. And that's the arrows of jealousy, that internal dispute, that stinging of the consciousness. That's exactly what we've been talking about. So that's how I know that's exactly what's going on. That it's just really getting rid of that internal dispute that's going on with the divine feminine between who I am and who I present to be. And, I'm getting that they're covering all corners, covering all corners of being themselves. Versus before, there was a lot of different sectors, and the truth is that the divine feminine is multi-dimensional. So they are all of that. They're every way that they're showing up. It's just an internal conflict that I'm getting, that the divine feminine believes that they are split in some type of way. And it's causing that, okay, well, I'm not necessarily aligned with where I want to be and what I'm doing, and acting in ways that I believe I should act, and things happening to me that I believe should be happening to me. Just a lot of judgment that the divine feminine is really letting go of that we have right here in the masses in the middle. They're really letting it go. And the reason why I know is that we're going into the clarifier, which is a first time thing I've ever experienced in a full reverse read with a 7 and an 8 back to back, and these aren't new cards. In reverse. So we go to that we'll even read it just like it is on here. The 2 of air on here, because we read the actual description as to what's going on. And that is that being unable, or, and see, this is where we are. It's or. So it's being unwilling to make a decision. A stalemate, pretending there is no problem. See, that's a little bit different. See, having that internal dispute and then moving into stalemate, unwilling to make a decision and pretending there's no problem. The divine feminine is getting ready to stop splitting the divine feminine self. Splitting self into these different ways, and it's like, all of this is who you are. So there's no more of splitting self. And then you say, okay, pretending there's no problem. Should they be pretending there's no problem? Well, the thing is that is what manifestation is. That's what prayer is. That's what affirming is. I mean, clearly there has to be a problem to lead to those actions. And in those actions, there is a pretending there is no problem, but focusing on the solution. And this is where the divine feminine is moving into, which is, I am every woman is coming up to me. I'm every woman is coming up to me. So it's so interesting. It's all in me. So that is coming up. That's it. That's more of the ring of that song, that second one. But that's coming up. So it's almost in a way of no longer having that embarrassment and anxiety because I should be this way, that way, that way. Or my experience should be this way, that way, that way. And moving into that point of that internal dispute of, well, this or that, and just saying, hey, I'm all of that, and all of that is fine. All of that is fine. Yes, none diminishes the other. There's no problem here. There's no problem with me, is what the divine feminine is moving into. There's no problem with me. And moving into that space, which is an amazing space to be in, because one of the things that's coming up is that it also supports that divine masculine energy. Because see, when you're in union within, the divine masculine side of you does not see a problem there. You see these two horses reflecting each other? Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know if you can see that. So, yeah, it's just right there. So that is a reflection of counterpart. So, and the divine feminine does not see the problem in the divine masculine, in that united state within. Because what it says is that we're in balanced harmony. So if that balanced harmony is not off, I'm not looking for why it's off. So removing that judgment center of within that the divine feminine is starting to do is also removing that judgment center that the divine feminine has formed for the divine masculine. Meaning is if I no longer see this is what's right, of how I should be, what should be happening to me, how it should be, and this is wrong, and this means I'm this, or that means I'm that. That splitting of who I am and what I should do and where I should align, and developing that wholeness view is also allowing that divine feminine to look at that divine masculine and see that wholeness view. Because that within me is now seeing that outside of me the same. Because what's within me is reflecting outside of me. Yeah. It's that beautiful mirroring of those twins. It is a beautiful time of the year for the divine union. So we go right on in to the 10 of Swords. And you look at that 10 of Swords, it's like man down, but it's in reverse. So that 10 of Swords in reverse is that advantage, that profit, that success, that favor, that power, that authority, you know? But none of it's permanent. So it's like, wait. None of it's permanent. That's everything. That's everything the divine feminine is saying they want. So I'm doing all of this and balancing within so I can have all of that I've been seeking to have from my counterpart and for myself. I have developed within, and now I am reflecting it. It is there, you know, is what the divine feminine is saying. But when I'm getting but not permanent, that means that the divine feminine has hit that position many, many times and felt that rise and ascension many, many times. And then shifted out. So remember how we're reading this. We're going into the clarifier, into it, which is that Queen of Cups. And you remember all those cups on that divine masculine that he was moving into? And it's so interesting because here we go with the divine feminine moving into the cups. Moving into the water, moving into the flow. That's what these are all about. All of them are, it's all the water moving into the flow. And in the flow is always union. Water always goes with the flow, you know? So moving into this, which is relationship developed to a new level, trust your intuition, care for yourself and others. So you see, divine feminine is moving from that temporary get here, but I cannot maintain my balance. You know, I can get aligned, but I cannot maintain my balance. I couldn't maintain my balance because I kept splitting myself, you know? I kept judging myself. I kept, you know, having this embarrassment or this anxiety, which made me feel like I needed to go and do something. But then I've gotten to this place in the middle, and this is where a lot of the masses of the divine feminine are. And they're just like, you know what? I don't have to choose this or that doesn't split me into who I am or what I am. You know, there is no problem. There's no problem with me. You know, all of that has been part of my life, but it doesn't prevent who I am to be. So when I move forward, I don't have to feel guilty like I don't deserve it, is what I'm getting with the divine feminine. I don't deserve it because this area of my life is the way it is. I don't deserve it because that area of my life is the way it is. Or I shouldn't do this because of this part of my life. Really releasing that. And you see that mirroring going over to the counterpart, really releasing that and feeling that worthiness of the present moment. And I'm also getting that a more of a deeper level for the counterpart with this action too, which is that part of, and I'm getting like not pretending like there isn't a problem with the counterpart, but really there is no focus on it. It's unwilling to make a decision about it, which means that I'm getting at the divine feminine are really just like, you know, it is what it is with the counterpart, and not putting energy into the really trying to figure it out because it defines them. It defines them. You know, that embarrassment, that anxiety, that anything. It's like, well, no, you know, this is my situation. This is what this person has going on, you know. That may be what the divine masculine energy has going on dominant, if there's a counterpart or relationship, or any type of situation with family, friend, or work, or whatever. That's what's going on, but that's not defining me. So I don't have to get so attached to that. Just because my counterpart is moving in this way, I don't have to get so attached to it affecting who I am, meaning I go up and then I go down. I go up and then I go down. I'm getting that the divine feminine is maintaining that, moving into maintaining that balance, that new level, that, and it's interesting, goes right into that reading of last night, which was that trust in that intuition, which means that I don't have to keep all these long accounts of stuff and be making a decision of what's good and what's bad, and then just really honing in on the problem there. I can move forward and trust my intuition is going to kick in for what is necessary for me, and I can continue to have that balance and that advantage, that profit, that success, that favor. Then I don't have to be split anymore in that judgment center. And it's just a beautiful place for caring for self and others that the divine feminine is moving into, with the energy in that future space that many of you are there. Many of you are moving there, and many of you are definitely on that track there, depending on where the divine feminine is. But all of this is good. It shows an action of moving from one state to the other. And really getting to where the divine feminine is able to, and there's a lot to do with finances here, because I'm getting accepting fully that self-position without saying, I can't do this until this part of my life is this way, or that part of my life is that way. See, the divine feminine feels like so many people are judging the divine feminine's moves from the outside, but it's really just been the divine feminine judging so many of those moves from the inside, and it's just been reflecting back in many different ways. But I'm getting that the divine feminines are moving into, I'm not judging my moves. I can do this and I can do that. I can do this, I can do that. I am a multi-dimensional being. I don't split myself. I don't allow you to split myself. I am in union within. You see, so many divides have been created across the structure of the earth that can put this pocket of person here and says, okay, well, you make this amount of money, you have this type of education, you look this way, you're this size, you dress this way, you are dating this person, you're married to this person, you're cohabitating with this person, you have children with these people, and it puts all these split boxes of who a person is. And the divine feminine is saying, hey, I yank back all of those and say they're all me. I don't have to say that cancels me out of being this. And because I was that, then I can't go be this. And because I am here, I can't go there. Or because I am here, then I shouldn't be here. Releasing all those judgments. The divine feminine is freeing self to not have those blocks from desires and loves and fulfillments because of those set structures. Yeah, divine feminine is releasing some more of those 3D structures that their freedom is falling into. So there's no entrapment even in there to allow, okay, I can align, but now I balance and have that harmony and alignment that I can really go with the flow of life and not just come back down whenever I am faced with looking back over my life and seeing if it all makes sense for the external. And it's like, it doesn't make sense for the external. Does it make sense for me? The divine feminine is saying. That's not what going with the flow is about. Going with the flow means this is where we have arrived now. That is where we were then. It was part of the journey. I'm at this point of the journey now. I don't have to go back and undo all my footsteps in order to be here. I can just be here, is what the divine feminine is saying. I can just be here. Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. If you would like AZ consciousness reading into your situation, the information is below. If you'd like a one-on-one with me, the information is below. It has been streamlined to be really, really easy. To take way less than it would take to go through my practices. What I've understand, it is best to do it that way. That way it's just really streamlined, easy, and a lot less that you'd have to complete or do or connect with. And that's available to you in the description below. The golden mission is union within self, then union with others. And it is unfolding beautifully.